The drama continues as Ryan Garcia is cleared or proves that he did not cheat against Devin Haney, according to new evidence that he has presented. The same type of evidence that cleared Alyssa Baumgardner of her performance-enhancing substance accusations. And people are really not happy about it. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel as we go on the pursuit of the truth. Did Ryan Garcia cheat against Devin Haney? And will he be suspended? Yesterday, it came out and was reported by Dan Rayfield that Ryan Garcia's B sample had tested positive, just like his A samples had. I should say 2 B samples and 2 A samples. However, Ryan Garcia countered that, and lawyers released a statement and said that we, in anticipation of this, had our hair and nails tested for Ostarine. And we sent this to a world-class expert. They tested for it, and there was no Ostarine present. So, what does that mean? It means some things for some fans. It means some things for Ryan. It means some things for Devin. And we're going to go over those things. But before we do, got to welcome you back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for checking me out, talking boxing with me, even in these more painful, type of situations. Also, thank you to everybody that supports the channel as a channel member. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks of videos like this. It's a great way to support content creators and allow them to continue to do their work. Let's get into this. Alyssa Baumgardner, after her fight, the last fight that she had news came out that she tested positive for a banned substance. The A sample wound up being positive. Alyssa Baumgardner did not, as far as I can see, did not get the B sample tested, but then just went and hired somebody, and she said at great expense to her, to do to do hair analysis. Now, if anybody is ever not heard of this, what they do is they test your hair, and because they say that whatever substance you have in your body will stay in your hair and in your nails longer than it will stay in your urine. So what Ryan Garcia did, and Ryan Garcia is actually able to do this because his hair is at least that long. And I did the research of when it was Alyssa Baumgardner about exactly how long it stays in your hair. And I think it's supposed to grow at per month, maybe like a 1/4 inch per month. So the fact that he has 4 inches of hair, 3 inches of hair on the top tells you that the same hair is on his head, that is on his head now, was on his head at the beginning of the year and probably, the middle portion of last year. So they can test his hair all the way back to that amount of time, therefore they should be able to test based on the section of his hair and where it is, like at the root or, an inch up. They can tell what time frame generally that hair grew. And if it's not in the hair, in those particular sections of his hair, they know that he was not on it during those times. So if it's not in any of the hair, and then what they are determined, and this is what Ryan Garcia has said, is that it was not intentionally ingested. And this is very consistent with contamination. of the urine sample. So they are also said that they are going to test all of the supplements and find exactly where the contamination took place. So it's a two-pronged defense for Ryan Garcia. One is that it's not in his hair for all of this time, which means that he could not have been had it in there at high levels for months and months and months and months previously. So this is something he took very recently. And then, of course, they're going to then say this specifically is what we've taken. If it winds up being that he is able to prove that, it's going to be very, very tough to suspend that guy for the use of performance enhancing drugs for the sake of actually getting a performance enhancement, because he's going to wind up, turn around and sue the state of New York. And there is, in the phrasing of the standard used to judge him, it does say strict scrutiny, but it says that you're going to have to produce evidence to overcome the presumption of your guilt. Well, expert testimony that your hair they can run. He still has a hair on his head, so they can run the test themselves if they want, can test to see whether during all of the lead up he was actually doing it or not. And then if he's again able to actually give these supplements, it's going to look like contamination. So what does that mean? It means that Ryan Garcia could very well not be punished because he accidentally or unintentionally ingested Ostarine, and that it wasn't in the system and it did not create any real competitive advantage for Ryan Garcia when he fought Devin Haney. And this is why I say, fans are going to have to decide some stuff. Do you want justice or what? Right? It's not justice if somebody has something in their system and they didn't intend to cheat and it didn't give them a benefit for you to treat them as if it did when the evidence really shows that it didn't. Right? On the other hand of it, you say, well, we don't really care about mistakes at all. So we just want them fried because it's in the system and it shouldn't be there at all. Well, if it's in his system and it shouldn't be there at all, and he proves that it couldn't possibly have given him any type of benefit, what do you do? It's a really tough situation, and I can understand people looking at it both ways. Somebody saying, no, we don't care, it just should be a detriment. But we should be a discouragement for people to behave like this or for this to happen in the future. But guess what? We're already to the point where people are able to get away with performance enhancements with things that are legal, because that's what snack is. Snack is legal. You're not going to pop dirty, but they're giving you all the benefits of the things that are illegal. So, you know what I mean? Kind of like if you don't want somebody to drive intoxicated but they don't have any, but I say, hey, I can give you something that will intoxicate you and you can drive intoxicated. But if they blow an alcohol, if they ask you to blow for an alcohol meter, it's going to come up clean for your blood and your urine and your breath for alcohol. But you're going to be high as a kite when you do it. So, you know what I mean? And they'll never be able to find the drug in your system. Well, that right there kind of blows the whole system. But at the end of the day, we're going to see what happens. My stance is the whole time has been, let's just see what happens. The A sample was positive. The B sample was positive. Now he comes with the evidence about the hair and the nails. Then we're going to see whether or not he can back it up with the contamination of the actual supplements and prove that the supplements were contaminated. One thing I'm not going to do is go follow around with what Ryan and Devin are saying about it, because Devin just wants him to pop dirty so he can get that loss off his record. And Ryan is just saying any and everything as it comes to his mouth, which isn't really doing him any good in the public eye. But at the same time, man, you're not going to say, oh, well, he admitted it because he said, yeah, I eat steroids all day. He's being sarcastic. We got to wait to see what the science say. And the fact is, if you trust the science with blood and if you trust the science with urine, you got to trust the science with the hair. Because they're equally, from my understanding, they're equally viable. They're equally viable scientific techniques to determine whether or not somebody cheated. If you take one, you got to take the other. Now, why don't they do hair and all that stuff from beginning? Probably because of the exorbitant cost and the fact that it will catch somebody going back as long as they have hair. Another side of problem is a guy like me, that wouldn't do him any good because I don't have enough hair and my hair doesn't grow long enough to keep 2 years worth of the drug in my system for them to know that I did it. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out.